Good evening, everyone. I'm Sandy, and this is Kate Dodge, and we welcome you here to the Heart Ball.
You know, we want to talk very briefly about why we support the American Heart Association. The disease has really affected the lives of both sides of our family. My sister Martha, who was not as fortunate as Sandy, did not survive a cardiac arrest, and Sandy did, but has been dealing with the disease for the last 40 years. My sister Martha was 36 years old with 3 small children. She was actually fixing breakfast for them one Sunday morning and had a cardiac arrest. And her husband didn't know how to do CPR. One of the children ran across the street because a nurse lived right across the street from them and rang the doorbell repeatedly, but there was no answer, and my sister did not survive. Well, Sandy, as usual, was going to play tennis, and I expected him home, and got a phone call from his doubles partner, Red Thomas, who said Sandy was going to be fine, but that he had had a cardiac arrest on the tennis court.
I was serving my second serve, and the next thing that I knew was waking up inside an ambulance with the siren going. And that day in particular, before I woke up in the ambulance, I was feeling absolutely fine.
He's a very, very healthy person, and in fact, when I got to the hospital that morning, after this had happened, he was sitting up in bed and looked just the way he had looked before he left in the morning. He was a runner, was a non-smoker, non-drinker, his weight the same weight that it had been in college, and so that's why it was such a surprise. We're very fortunate that none of our children or grandchildren have any signs of this disease, and we would hope that through proactive means that we would really be able to either eradicate the disease or have the ability to very quickly turn things around. And we certainly are better able to do that than we were 40 years ago, but there's still a long way to go.
The Heart Association and their education programs are trying very, very hard to get the word out on not only exercise and weight control, but a number of things that we can do.
And the genetic research is very important in knowing who's vulnerable up front prior to any event happening that can be devastating.
Despite all of the advances that have been made in the last 4 decades, still over 600,000 Americans die annually of heart disease. Continued support is vitally important.